Sawadee Ka. Hello and welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. I just walked up a mountain trail to get to a remote historic temple to give a little talk. Before we get started, let me show you around. Be sure to wait around to the end of the video because I'm going to give some tips to help your meditation practice. Now that you've had a chance to look around, let's talk about today's topic. What is enlightenment, or Nibbana? Nibbana is a word used in the Pali text. The Pali texts are the original teachings of Gotama Buddha. So I tend to use the word Nibbana to describe the mental state that Gotama Buddha taught that we are guided to through his teachings. However, the English word is enlightenment. You may also be familiar with the Sanskrit word nirvana. This word is much more popular than nibbana, but they all mean the same thing, which is a mental state that we acquire through the teachings of Gotama Buddha. Of course, you hear some sounds probably on the video. They're doing some construction at one of the other buildings next to me. This is just the sound of impermanence. Impermanence is around everything, so you're going to hear some sounds and different things as we go through the video. But just stay focused on the topic here, and we'll discuss what is Nibbana, or enlightenment. Nibbana is a mental state that Gotama Buddha teachings guide us to. It's a permanent mental state where you reside permanently without sadness, without loneliness, without boredom, without anger, and any other conditions that would cause the mind to be discontent. There's essentially three defilements or three poisons that are present in the mind that we're working to eliminate as part of these teachings. That is greed, hatred, and delusion, or craving, anger, and ignorance. We're going to go into these in much more detail in a later chapter, but these are the three poisons or the three defilements. So one of the quick ways to describe Nibbana is it's the elimination of greed, hatred, and delusion with the dissolving of the ego and realizing non-self. This would be a really quick, easy way to describe Nibbana. We could also say that it is the elimination of craving, anger, and ignorance with the dissolving of the ego and realization of non-self. This would be a really quick and easy way to describe Nibbana, or enlightenment. However, if someone is not familiar with what craving, anger, and ignorance is, or greed, hatred, and delusion, then they wouldn't necessarily understand this definition. What this practice is about is eliminating these three poisons or three defilements of the mind that are present from birth all the way through to our current life, to our current time. These three poisons come from our animal existences prior to the human birth. So we are born into this human life with these three defilements, right? And as we go through life, we accumulate more and more of an ego and more of a concept of a self. And we protect that self, just like an animal would protect their self. We protect that concept of a permanent self. So to realize Nibbana or attain Nibbana and pursue Nibbana, we need to eliminate our greed, our craving, attachments, our grasping, our holding, whatever we want to call that. We need to eliminate our anger, our hatred, frustration, irritation, even the slightest displeasantness of mind, as well as delusion or ignorance or the unknowing of true reality. This is more closely to what the Buddha described. He didn't use the word delusion or ignorance in a derogatory way in the way that we use it today. His description of this third poison is the unknowing of true reality. And this is essentially the unknowing that everything is impermanent. Unknowing that we cause our own discontent mind, that we cause it through attachment, and that we can eliminate that discontent mind. We're unknowing of Dhamma and the natural law of Dhamma and all the various teachings that are part of his Dhamma. We're unaware or unknowing of those teachings. That's what the delusion is, or that's what the ignorance is, not in a derogatory way, but in a unknowing of true reality. So working towards Nibbana means that we're eliminating greed, hatred, and delusion, craving, anger, and ignorance, or attachment, frustration, irritation, and the unknowing of true reality. This is what we're working towards, dissolving the ego, this concept of we're so important, or what perceptions that we have of ourselves and other people have of ourselves. Dissolving that so that we can get to our natural state, which is enlightenment or Nibbana. And of course, that comes with the realization of non-self. When you attain Nibbana, or as you're pursuing it, through learning these teachings, through training the mind through meditation, what you will notice is the mind will come into the present moment. You will no longer dwell in the past or have expectations of the future. You will no longer experience sadness, anger, hatred, frustration, irritation, guilt, shame, fears. You will no longer have extreme elation, where your mind is just going to the pleasant feelings and just so extremely excited, and then boom, you crash into sadness. This is a mind that is unawakened that's doing this. You also won't experience the boredom or loneliness or shyness or just melancholy and just sitting around and just feeling like life is worthless and you don't want to do anything, right? So you will eliminate what the Buddha called dukkha, or I use the word discontentedness of mind. Some people use the word suffering. However, this isn't a correct way to describe the word dukkha that the Buddha used, because he described it with a painful feeling, a pleasant feeling, and a feeling that is neither painful nor pleasant. We're going to get into this in the next chapter, in the next talk, when we describe the Four Noble Truths. We're going to describe discontentedness and dukkha and the current state of the unenlightened mind much more closely. This video is to help you understand what is the goal of these teachings and where are we headed. Because if you don't know where you're headed and you don't know what the goal is, how could you attain it? How could you know to drive from one city to the next city if you don't even know what that next city is? So right now you have an unenlightened mind and you're working towards an enlightened mind. So I'm describing what an enlightened mind is. Okay? An enlightened mind has eliminated greed, hatred, and delusion, or craving, anger, and ignorance, as well as dissolving the ego and realizing non-self. You will no longer experience sadness, anger, hatred, even frustration, irritation, fears, guilt, shame, You won't have extremely excited feelings where your mind just wants to dwell and pull into the excited happiness. And you also won't have the low boredom and loneliness and melancholy, shyness, feelings like this. Your mind will be completely at ease. Your mind will be in the middle, and you will feel joyful. You will have a mental state of being joyful, permanent joy, where nothing can bother you. Nobody's words, nobody's actions, nothing can bother you. You recognize everything as impermanent, and there's nothing to protect because there's no self. Okay? Further on this chapter, some other things that you're reading is about the 10 fetters. Not only do we need to eliminate the things that I've talked about so far, but in working your way to the 4 stages of enlightenment, you need to eliminate the 10 fetters. You'll see those in the book in a very good description of those. Each stage of enlightenment increases the number of fetters that you either need to eliminate or thin. There's the first stage of enlightenment, which is considered a stream enterer or a stream winner. You will also hear this term. Then, and in that stage of enlightenment, you don't return any more than 7 times back to the human realm. In the second stage of enlightenment, this is what's called a once returner, meaning you have some residual clinging, some residual attachment, and you need to return one more time in order to resolve that. Then there's the third stage of enlightenment, which is considered to be a non-returner. This is someone who will not return back to the human realm. They will have experienced and attained many qualities of enlightenment, having eliminated all the 5 lower fetters, and they will be benefiting enormously from their work to eliminate those 5 lower fetters. And then the highest stage of enlightenment, the Arahant, has eliminated all 10 fetters. And these 10 fetters are all described in detail in the book, and you can work with a teacher if you talk and ask questions how to eliminate these 10 fetters and work towards training and controlling the mind to eliminate these 10 fetters. Further, as you dive deeper and deeper into this chapter, you're getting more advice about how to attain enlightenment and how to determine if other people have attained enlightenment. Because it's really important not only to understand what enlightenment is, but also if you're going to be studying with a teacher and learning with a teacher, to understand if they've attained enlightenment. Because how could you ever be led to enlightenment if someone themselves have not attained enlightenment? So it's important as you seek out teachers in this practice that you look for teachers that have already attained enlightenment or Nibbana. So in the last part of this chapter, I give you some guidance on some questions you may want to reflect on and ask a potential teacher in order to determine if you feel like there would be somebody that you could learn from and be guided in your practice to attain Nibbana or enlightenment. So this pursuit of enlightenment, it's a really wonderful pursuit. You're going to need teachers along the way. The teachers are the ones holding the light and helping you walk the path. They're not going to hold your hand on the path because you need to do the work. However, they will hold the light and walk with you and guide you, and in some cases, let you walk by yourself. In a lot of situations, you need to be walking alone, but you need the guidance of a teacher. So that's why it's really important that you seek out good teachers that you feel have attained Nibbana and someone that you can learn with and grow with so that you can get more and more clarity on the teachings, more and more development in your practice, and more ability to pursue this mental state of Nibbana where you will be permanently at peace. The mind will rest permanently peaceful, tranquil, sublime, blissful, and joyful. All right, it's time to share a meditation tip with you, just like I promised. Here's your meditation tip. Develop your practice of breathing mindfulness meditation, just like described in chapter 11 and in the video, Introduction to Breathing Mindfulness Meditation. As you get this practice established more and more over the coming weeks and over the coming months, there's going to come a time when you feel that wherever you're meditating, either in your bedroom, your living room, some quiet space in your home, you're going to feel that your practice is pretty well developed. And it may even start flattening out, and you feel that maybe it's not as challenging anymore. What you need to do when you feel this flattening out in your practice, or you feel like you want to challenge your mind and train it further, is you need to get into some other environments. You need to go out to the park. You need to go to a temple. You need to go where there's noise. You need to go to a friend's house. You need to go different places in the world where you can meditate. And you can challenge your mind and test your mind to meditate in that environment. Just like in this practice, you don't want to have any attachments. You also don't want to have any attachments during your meditation. You don't want to have an attachment to a specific pillow, to a specific room, to a specific location, to a specific time of doing meditation. You want to move the mind around into different environments. So at the end of this video, I'm going to be doing some meditation here. I've never been here before. There's new sounds, there's new lighting, it's a new environment. It's a great time for me to do some meditation and test my mind and challenge my mind to be calm, peaceful, and content in any situation. That's part of what Nibbana is your mind should be peaceful, calm, steady, and unshakable in any given situation. So the way that you acquire that is through your meditation practice and through daily life. But in your meditation practice, as you get comfortable in one environment, move the mind out into other environments and practice meditation in those environments so that you can challenge your mind and see if you're able to meditate, even for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, however long it might be. Challenge your mind to be calm, peaceful, steady, unshakable, and content in any and all situations. So do that in your meditation practice when you feel like you're ready. Don't rush and do it right away. Nothing in this practice is about rushing. So take your time, develop a meditation practice to train the mind using breathing mindfulness meditation from chapter 11. And then when you feel like your practice is fairly well established, move the mind into another environment. It can just be another room in your house. It can be outside in your backyard. It can be out on the patio. It can be on a balcony. It can be in a park. It can be in a temple. It can be at your friend's house. Anywhere, just move your mind around and try to meditate in different places. This is one of the reasons why I teach to only meditate with your body, your mind, and your breath. That way you have it with you all the time. You don't even have to make a plan. You could just be out somewhere looking around and be like, you know what? Let me do some meditation. Let me try it. Sit down with your body, your mind, and the breath. If you have the body, the mind, and the breath, which you're going to have your entire life until death, then you can meditate anywhere, anytime, without any attachments whatsoever, which is what I'm going to do right now. Thank you for watching this video. I really am so pleased that you've decided that Gotama Buddha teachings are something that you would like to learn and pursue to improve your quality of life. Be well, and until next time, Sawadee Ka. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Bhutang Bhagavanang Abhivatimi Savakhato Bhagavata Tammo Tamang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Nassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Nassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo สนัง